What is going on, everyone? It is Super here, and welcome to another Injustice 2 video. And today we have another Q&A video for you guys. So if you have your own questions, as always, leave it in the comment section. And if you've already left one, I probably haven't gotten to it yet. So let's get started here. The first question actually isn't really related to Injustice, but I kind of want to throw this in here to talk about this. Brian asked, would you like a new Marvel fighting game? And oh my god, yes, I definitely would. The ideal situation for me is to get a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. That would be the best game ever if it were to come out. I would be so excited for that game because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is actually my favorite fighting game of all time. MVC 2 is what really got me into the arcades, pumping in quarters, spending lots and lots of money trying to actually learn this game, and I got pretty good at it at one point. Not really competitive wise, because in competitive play, like, MVC2 gets fucking ridiculous and the game is insanely unbalanced, but in my opinion, it's one of the most fun games to watch and one of the most rewarding games to actually get good at. And yeah, I would definitely love another Marvel vs. Capcom 4 or another Marvel vs. Capcom game. And who knows, man, maybe in the future we could get one, but that's my ideal Marvel game to get, a MVC4. So moving on here, Jaquan asks, who's your favorite character from Suicide Squad? And my favorite character from Suicide Squad is obviously Harley Quinn, because she is just one of my favorite characters of all time. You know, her, the Joker, Superman are right there as my favorite characters ever. And but excluding Harley Quinn, I really like Deadshot. Especially from the new Suicide Squad movie. I love Deadshot, and I loved El Diablo. I love, the way Captain Boomerang was portrayed. If that version of Captain Boomerang was introduced to Injustice 2, that would be fucking awesome. Like a gritty type Captain Boomerang. I would really love that. But later on in the future, I actually watched the Assault on Arkham Suicide Squad like movie, and I really got a deep appreciation of Killer Frost. I actually really like Killer Frost, and I want her to make it into Injustice 2. I never really knew about Killer Frost too much, but watching her in this Assault on Arkham movie, I really got an appreciation for that character. So Killer Frost is right there as one of my favorite Suicide Squad members. So moving on here, Pabs asks, will you be playing on the gear system matches or on the non-gear system matches in Injustice 2? Because there are going to be game modes where the gear doesn't affect your character's ability. So for example, the gear system, the way it stands now, if I get a piece of armor, it might give my Superman, +2 speed or something like that. It might make my agility to 103 compared to like 100 that it has by default. You know what I'm saying? So NetherRealm is implementing a game mode so you could play without having the gear affect your character's ability. So I'm definitely going to be playing both. One thing I'm really looking forward to in Injustice 2 is just making my own version of every character. It would be pretty cool to have like my own character showcase on, make one specific video on my personal Superman, my personal Supergirl, just my version of that character, and have like a character showcase. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what people do and what the different costumes are, stuff like that. So I will definitely be playing both. If it gets to the point where the gear system is affecting the game too much, then I might go into the gear system and play that. But I really think they're gonna balance that out great. They have so much time to balance this out. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a big deal. The one thing that gets me a little worried is that some of these gear are actually going to affect some of your special moves. So for example, there's one gear I remember Ed Boon talking about this. Batman has a specific gear in which instead of throwing one batarang, he throws 3 batarangs. And there's going to be some gear that affects your character's not only abilities but special moves, and changes the special moves. So that gets me a little bit worried, but I think having all this time, they said a long time, to test this out. I think they're gonna balance it really, really well. So, but I'll definitely be playing on both. Moving on here, you don't want to know beef? Ask. That's funny. He actually, I remember this guy's comment because he had the Suicide Squad or the Jared Leto Joker. You don't want no beef. You don't want no beef. You know that line that he has in the movie. I fucking love it. And yeah, I remember. I don't know. I just thought to throw it in there. So next question comes from you don't got no beef, and he asks, "Do you think Joker will get a new moveset, because he was one of the, if not the worst character in the game, and his moveset was some of the worst in the game?" So I don't think he's gonna get too many new moves, but I do believe they have to give him a couple new moves. They're probably gonna give him, maybe one or two new moves, and they're gonna make his other moves a lot better. Maybe they're gonna make it faster. They're going to change the priority on the moves or something like that, because the majority of the characters coming back are going to be they're going to have like similar move sets that they had in the regular Injustice. So I definitely think that they have to make him better, because the Joker is one of the most iconic characters in comic book history. They have to make him just make him mid tier. Like, please don't make him the worst character in the game like he was in Injustice. So I really hope that they make him a lot better than he was. And yes, I hope he gets like a completely brand new moveset. That would be like good for all of us if he gets a completely brand new set of moves. So next up here comes from Eric, and he asks, what character do you think will be too hard for the creators of Injustice to put in? Wow, that's actually a very good question. And I think the hardest characters for developers are probably the shapeshifters. Shang Tsung is probably very hard for them to do, and they pull it off to an extent, but I think maybe that's one of the reasons he wasn't in MKX. I'm not really sure. MK9 compared to MKX, like the graphics it's an insane like difference. So I don't know if they could have pulled it off in MKX. I think they'll Shang Tsung will return eventually, but characters like Beast Boy, these characters would be really, really hard for the developers to create, in my opinion. I think the shapeshifters, people who could, transform into another, like Beast Boy animal, stuff like that. I think that kind of might prevent the character from being put in the game, just because he might be a little bit too hard to transition over to a video game. I'm not really sure though. I think with just looking at it on paper, it would look like a shapeshifter would definitely be the hardest character to pull off for a developing studio. So that's gonna be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's Injustice Q&A video, and I'll see you guys next time.